Hi, welcome to my new channel, Diva Tested, Diva Approved, and I want to start this off right today. We're going to start off with some Diva Darlings and Diva Dolls, which is really just my fancy way of saying all the empty stuff I've used up, or stuff that I'm in the process of using up, or yeah, stuff that ended up in the 4 bags that are sitting around the floor. I feel like a hoarder. Yes, I have like 4 bags, 4 Sephora bags. You know, two of these, full of empty boxes, all for you. So let's get into it. Let's start with, yeah, just forgot the word, moisturizers. And these are empties I've had for over a year. Like, this is stuff I started using, I think maybe back in September, October of last year. I'm a hoarder. Okay, so first off is the Sunday Riley title. I really liked this. It's really expensive though. I don't know if it did everything that it was supposed to do. I will tell you that, again, let's get a good shot there. I liked what it did to my skin. Do I feel like I look brighter and younger and like I'm 16? No. But it's really good. And I would repurchase it, except it is really, really, really expensive. So it's a Diva Darling. Just wish, again, that it was a little cheaper. Okay, next. The Peter Thomas Roth Water Drench Hyaluronic Cloud Cream Hydrating Moisturizer. And I have actually repurchased this. I'm on the second container. I like it. And it's a little bit cheaper than the Sunday Riley. It's about the same size, but I do like the way it goes on. I like the way it feels. You don't have to use very much. Yeah, so definitely a Diva Darling, and also that it's like $15 cheaper than Sunday Riley. And both of those usually last me, I think the Sunday Riley lasts me almost 5 months, maybe 6 months. This one lasts, okay, maybe that wasn't, it was about 4.5 months on the Sunday Riley. This is about 4.5 months on this as well. So, again, I said I did repurchase this. I got it in a holiday kit that I found at Ross, and I paid like $23, and it had the full size of this, and then a cleanser and another kind of, I can't remember, hyaluronic acid that came in the kit. So it was like $23, and it's usually $52. So I got a good deal on that. So Peter Thomas Roth, Diva Darling. Okay. It Confidence and a Cream. It's also moisturizer, and I bought this blooper. I got this kind of in between the Sunday Riley and after the Peter Thomas Roth, before I got the new one. Lady at Ulta recommended it. I really liked it. I used it a lot when I was in Aruba because it's very, was out in the sun all the time. So when I would come back after I would get all cleaned up, I would put this back on in the morning, or put this on when I came back from the beach, and then before I went to bed at night, it kept my skin like really hydrated. I like the smell of it. It's supposed to be anti-aging, all these great things. Definitely would repurchase it again. And yeah, so that's a Diva Darling. Sorry, my lighting is a little wacky right now. I'm trying to get this all figured out. Next, okay, the Grown Alchemist Hydra Repair Day Cream, Camilla Geranium Blossom. This came in a, there, that might help. This came in a FabFitFun box, and I like it all right. It's just, what's the word? I don't really favor the smell. It's okay. A little of this goes a long way. It feels a little greasy, and I'm kind of oily, so it's okay. I like to use it if I'm feeling really dry. I will put this on. It's kind of harder to wear under makeup, so usually it would be something that if I'm not wearing any makeup for the day, I will put this on, or I'm just kind of around the house and I've washed my face, I will put this on. If I'm feeling really, really dry, I will put this on, but not something I would probably go out and buy again. Well, I didn't really buy this. It came in a box. But not something that I would probably purchase on my own. So kind of a Diva doll. Good shot. Okay, moving right along. Let's get into primers. So the first one is the Laura Mercier Anti-Blemish Primer. Blemishless Primer. Some days I like it, some days I don't. Some days it makes me feel really oily, and I can see like in my lines, my foundation kind of just like breaks apart, and some days it's good. It's kind of a hit or miss. I think it's the way that my skin wants to act that day. Yeah, it's not a darling and it's not a doubt. It's kind of an in-betweeny. I'm almost like I'm trying to use it up. I don't think I would repurchase it, but it's not a bad primer. It's just I can't get it to work right on my face with my skin tone or my skin type. So it can work really well for you. It's just kind of I feel kind of about it. Kind of maybe a doubt there. Probably wouldn't repurchase it. I'm getting really good at that. The Too Faced Hangover Replenishing Face Primer. I really, really like this. I'm almost out of it, actually. I love the smell of it because it smells like coconut and it reminds me of the beach. So, of course, I'm going to love it. I just like the way that it feels on my skin. The way that my skin feels, actually, you know, I've put it on and I feel, I don't know, my makeup goes on really well over top of it. I've learned that I don't put very much here on my chin and kind of really lightly on the nose and then kind of focus out here with the primer, and then I don't get all that breakup that sometimes I get in my fine lines. So definitely would repurchase this. Actually, I really need to buy some more. So hopefully I will get some Sephora gift cards for Christmas. Hint, hint, anybody wants to buy me anything? So I can repurchase this. So this is definitely a Diva darling. I got this one in, I believe, a Sephora Play Box. It's the Murad Invisablur Perfecting Shield Broad Spectrum SPF 30. And honest to goodness, I didn't notice anything different when I used this. Yeah. Yeah. I noted that the full size is really expensive. So unless it's like, if it's gonna blur, it needs to make like the lines, the wrinkles, the texture, the pore, everything needs to be blurred. I need to look like I've been face tuned in real life. So probably wouldn't repurchase it, and I think it kind of stung a little bit when I put it on. Yeah, a Diva Doubt. Oops, missed that one. Another sample that I got when I went to Ulta, they were having a Too Faced promotion, and they had Too Faced artists in there. So this is the Shadow Insurance, and I got this. Obviously, it's just a escaping me. Obviously, it is a sample size or a deluxe sample size. I'm almost out of this. I've been kind of going between the Urban Decay Shadow Primer and this. I like this. I like that it's in a tube and you squeeze out a little bit. With the Urban Decay, it's a doe foot. So it's a little less control. But I definitely would repurchase this. And I've noticed like it's just as good as the Urban Decay. I don't get any creasing or everything. So yeah, definitely a Diva darling. Oops. Okay, let's move along to foundations and concealers. So the one concealer that I know that I had in here, and I know I purchased other ones, but they're not in here, was the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. And this is in the color Light. And it was a good concealer. It is creamy, so you have to be really careful about putting too much and then getting that like kind of cakey look. But a really good concealer. But Sephora also makes one that's really similar to this, and I believe also the Maybelline Fit Me, which I have one in my makeup box right now that work just as well, and this was kind of pricey. So yeah, it's a darling, but there are also good alternatives. So Diva darling, but there are other cheaper options as well. Okay, let's just take all three of these together. These are foundations from The Ordinary, and you're like, why did you buy three? Well, what had happened was, if everything is online with The Ordinary and you can't really tell your shade, so since they're like $6.80 US, I just bought three, kind of hoping that I would get the right shade. Like I really wanted this to work, but it just didn't. Something with the formula and my skin, I don't know. Like sometimes it would look really good and sometimes it would look awful, and it looked sometimes more awful than it looked good, and I just kind of gave up. I have used it to mix in with other foundations. If I needed something a little bit lighter, because one of these is a little dark, I would, sorry, I have one that's a little too dark and one that's a little too light. So I've been using the light one. If the foundation is a little too dark, I can mix them together. When I had a nice tan, I could mix in a little bit of the darker one to make foundation a little bit darker. But they're probably really good with the right skin type, and my skin type just wasn't right. They also do have their own primer, and I'm sure it probably works better with their primer than, you know, other primers. I don't know how I feel about that. Makeup, you know, foundations like, oh, you should have to use our primer to make the foundation work right. Like, that's just, I don't know. Makes me feel kind of weird. Anyway, kind of a Diva doubt. Sorry, Ordinary. I like your other products, but these, not so much. Moving right along. The Too Faced Born This Way Undetectable Medium to Full Coverage Foundation. When the lady who was a artist from the from Too Faced put this on me, it looked amazing. And the shade is Porcelain. I don't know. Like sometimes like it looks really great, and then other times it doesn't. So I think it could be the person applying it. Or it could just be like sometimes my skin's a little wacky. So I will use it up. I don't know if I'll repurchase it. Kind of feel like it's good, but like my skin just has to decide that it's going to cooperate that day. That's the whole thing. So Diva Darling. Missed the box. All right. The Cover FX Power Play Foundation. Probably, and this is in the shade N25. Probably my best shade match, but sometimes it just isn't like enough. Like I want it to be, it's supposed to be full coverage. I just can't seem to build it up to full coverage, and it's probably the person applying the makeup, not the makeup itself. I start to get kind of cakey. I do really like it, and I've used it to mix in with other things. I don't know. I think just, I kind of go through phases where I like certain foundations, and then I'm like, let's try something different. And then I kind of switch things up a little bit. But that's the fun with makeup, is that you can switch things up. It does work for me. I just have to play around with it a lot to make it work the best. But definitely, it's a more full coverage foundation. And it's a it's a more full coverage foundation, and you do get 1.8 fluid ounces in the bottle, which is a little bit more than a normal size. Usually you get 1 fluid ounce. So it's a little pricier, but you have to think that you're getting 0.18 fluid ounces more in this bottle than in some of the other bottles that you'll buy. So it's a good makeup, and I would repurchase it. I just have to keep figuring out exactly what I do when it makes my skin look really good. So Diva Darling. Okay, the Tarte Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation. And I tried this kind of on a whim. because I had a coupon. No, Ulta was having a sale, and this was like it was on sale, big sale. And then I had, I think it was half off. Then I had some Ulta dollars or whatever they are. So I think I paid $12 for this, and it's like a $36 foundation. So I got a deal. I like this foundation a lot. It is really not something for a person with dry skin. Okay, you could probably make it work, and somebody else is gonna be like, I have dry skin. I think it would be harder for somebody with dry skin. It really does work well. My skin is oily. It really works well. It just seems to like really absorb the oil, so I don't look like an oil slick during the day. I do like it a lot. I kind of go between this one and another one, so we'll get to that one in a second, but definitely something that I would repurchase. Yeah, I have used it when I came back from vacation and I was pretty dark. This was a little too light, so I mixed in one, I think the Ordinary, and kind of made the color made it the right shade. But it definitely something I would repurchase. And when I'm feeling really oily, I do go to this foundation, the Amazonian clay, but it does not work for everybody. Like I said, it seems to be something that works really well for people who are a little more oily. So yeah, Diva Darling. Which brings me to my current foundation. I know I'm gonna get like a ton of flack for this because the shade range is not good at all. And Tarte, you need to step up your game, because there are people of like every shade, not just pale white people like me. There are people with very dark skin and they want to wear makeup too. So you need to up your shade range, up your game. Let's get on it, because everybody who wants to wear makeup should have an option to find a shade that matches them. Getting off the soapbox now. This is the Tarte Shape Tape matte foundation, and like I said, the shade range is not that great. And actually, it was really weird because the Amazonian clay, the shade that I'm in Amazonian clay, is like a shade lighter than this. Like the name on the container is different. Like you would think that if it was made from the same company, that it would like, you could just buy like, oh, I can always buy light medium or light neutral or whatever. Like it doesn't work that way. Like I had to like swatch a bunch of them and like put them up to my neck, and yeah. But anyway, I am the shade light neutral. I like this. It does have the big doe foot. It looks a lot like the Shape Tape concealer. That's what I'm wearing right now. I'm looking a little shiny, probably because my light's set up. But I do like it. I just like the way that it looks on my skin. Maybe it's the doe foot helps me to not put too much on. But it is a Diva Darling, except that Tarte, again, you need to fix the shade range. Like for people who are darker, and also, you know, some lighter things. It can't just be all these like little medium white girl shades in the middle. You need to be out here dark, out here for the really light. You need to like shade range, not just like about 15 shades in the middle and like 4 here and 3 here. Like shade range for everybody. So Diva Darling, but work on the shade range. Okay, something I forgot when I was working on showing you foundations. I did buy the Tarte the buffer brush, and I do say I really like this brush a lot. Had it not been on sale, wouldn't have bought it. Again, it was during the it was during the Ulta sale back, I don't even know when, it was a while ago. Had it not been on sale, I wouldn't have bought it. But I do like this brush a lot. It's a nice thick handle, it's nice dense, like it's just like the weight of it in my hand. I kind of think it helps me to buff my foundation in better, because it's not like a really lightweight handle. And yeah, the handle's got some weight to it because I think it's bamboo, but definitely a Diva Darling. I do like this brush a lot, so definitely a keeper. Let's move on to powder. Okay, So I have two of the Too Faced Primed and Poreless powders. I finished one up and I bought one to replace it. I like this powder, but I realized that there's only certain places that I can powder my face. If I powder here too much, it gets real cakey, as well as right here in my 11s. But times when I'm really oily, I can powder in different places, or if you get a little too ham with the bronzer or the contour, this will help you to veil it a little bit. So definitely a Diva darling, something I would keep. This is just this is the Laura Mercier translucent powder. This came in a Sephora play box. I have a bigger bottle or bigger container that I've dumped the smaller container in. I like the small containers for traveling. I like this powder a lot. It is a loose powder, so the Too Faced is a pressed powder. This is a loose powder. I like both of them. This is kind of like, this is the one that you hear everybody talking about. It is expensive, but it does work really well. I would see, you know, if you can get a sample, if you're like, don't know if it's going to work for me, get a sample at Sephora or get it when it's on sale. You can buy the smaller version. They're up by the cash register, so you don't have to make the commitment for the big one. So definitely something I like. It's a Diva darling. But again, if you're kind of on the fence, get the small container or see if you can get a sample and try it out. Diva darling. Okay, this one is Luna by Luna. This is a translucent powder. It came in, I believe, it was an Ipsy bag. It makes me look white. You're like, you are white, Heather. I know I'm white. But it's like, it has a white tint to it. Like, I look Casper white when I put it on. So, it's more, I think you could use it for veiling if you get a little too crazy with some contour or some highlight, or not highlight, get too crazy with some contour or some bronzer. But it's not something I reach for a lot because it does, like, either I'm getting too much or, yeah, it makes me look kind of ghostly. So maybe it would be good to put under your eyes to make them look a little brighter, but it's not something that I wouldn't purchase it. Again, it came in a box and that's why I have it. So kind of a Diva doubt, sorry. Ooh, I'm on my game today. Okay, let's move into bronzers, highlighters, that whole 9 yards. Okay, let's look at this one. This is the Freematic bronzer. I think this is Deuce. And this came in an Ipsy box, I know, or Ipsy bag, I know for sure. It's okay. It's kind of powdery, like a lot of powder. Probably not something I would purchase again, but I do have it in my Z palette if I need to use it. Probably a little bit too dark for me, but I can use it for an eyeshadow. So probably wouldn't repurchase it, so it's kind of a Diva doubt, but hey, it might work for you. So anyway, yeah, I'll use it up and wouldn't repurchase it. Oops. Hoola Benefit. This was also Hoola Benefit bronzer. It's the bronzer. Everybody has a Hoola bronzer, right? Well, I have a little one. And the reason I had this little one is because it came in a Sephora play box. I mean, it's a nice bronzer, but I think it was so big because it was one of like the first bronzers was like out there, and people were like, bronzer. I don't know if I repurchased it. It's not bad. I know the shade doesn't work for everybody. I know there's like a Hoola Light, and this is just the regular one. It's okay. I had to be really careful not to go too crazy with it because otherwise then I look kind of like funky. So I will use it up. I don't know if I would repurchase it. Kind of a doubt. I mean, it's a good bronzer, but I have other things I like better. Okay. Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette. Okay. I love this thing. If it was a man, I would probably marry it. That's how I feel about this. Probably because it smells like chocolate. I'm almost out of the medium cocoa shade. Like, I just have like the edges. Like, I've hit pan. The dark cocoa, the pop of light, and the light cocoa, yeah, I would have to, like, I have plenty of that left. I do like this. Again, I love the smell. Probably why I like it so much. But it doesn't seem to be so powdery. And again, it's the smell. It's easy to work with. I just really like it a lot. So definitely a Diva Darling is something that I definitely repurchase. Okay, the Tarteist Pro Glow. This came in a FabFitFun box. Ooh, the shine. Blinding. It's really powdery. Like, I started to notice all this powder on my vanity, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And then I realized it when I opened the case to this. Like, it was all over the mirrors, and then in like the edges of the palette, and that's what I'm seeing all over my vanity. So I'm gonna use it up. I do like some of the highlight shades. Some of them are like blinding. Like, there's a nice champagne shade in there that like a little goes a long way. It's a nice palette. Probably not something I would repurchase, but it did come in a FabFitFun box. So I'm going to use it up and be done with it. Probably not, again, not something I would repurchase, but some of the highlight shades are really nice. It just seems like the contour shades a little, you have to be really careful. That's all I'll say. To be careful, because otherwise you look like a weird person. So kind of a diva doubt, but I'm going to use it up because why not? Just use it up. It's not my favorite. It could really work for you, but not my favorite. Let's move on to highlighters. Ciate London Glow 2 highlighter. It's really, yeah, kind of powdery. A little too powdery. Again, it's one of those that I see all over my vanity. I don't get a lot of payoff on my skin with it, so definitely not something. This came in I want to say an Ipsy bag. Definitely would not repurchase it, but it could work for you. Yeah, not a favorite. Kind of a diva doubt. This brings us to my favorite highlighter. This is the Becca highlighter in Moonstone, and I have the Champagne Pop. I did get that in a Sephora Play box. This one is the smaller size, like the deluxe sample size, or I don't think that's really what it's called. Buy the Sephora up by the cash register, and it's kind of like half the size of the normal one. So it's one of those things like, let's try it out, see if we like it. I love this highlighter a lot. It's just enough. It's not like blinding. You can make it blinding, but if you just want that little pop of highlight that, you know, kind of catches, this is definitely the one that I would pick. For light skin tones like mine, if you are darker, you might need a darker highlight. So yeah, look through the highlighters, see which ones work for you, but this is definitely a Diva Darling. Yeah, moving right along. Setting sprays. Okay. The Urban Decay All Nighter Long Lasting Makeup Setting Spray used to be my go-to. This is what I would buy. I loved it. I still love it. It's great. They have, I think they're the one that's like anti-aging. Don't mess with that. Just get the regular one. I think it works just as well, if not the same. Like, yeah, there's no difference. I think they just slap something else on there and make people think like, oh, it's going to be anti-aging and all my wrinkles are going to go away. Not going to happen. Anyhow, it's a Diva Darling, definitely, but I have found I did play basketball. Yeah, I did. The Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1. Again, it smells like coconut. I have a big one, I have a little one. I don't even know how I got the little one. I, honest to goodness, I don't even know. Because why I didn't buy another, yeah. Anyway, I love the smell of this, and it does set my makeup really well. Obviously I liked it because I bought it twice. I'm almost out. I need to buy another one. I just like the way it smells. You can use this as a primer as well. With being a little oily, I needed something that's going to stick a little bit better. So I don't use this very often as a primer. I have used it as a primer, like if I'm just using a BB cream or just some like a little tint. But normally I use the other Too Faced primer. But I do love this as a setting spray. And again, it smells like coconut. It smells like the beach. Makes me happy. It's a Diva darling. Let's move on to eyes. The Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow pencil. This is actually the brow definer pencil. They do have the dip brow. There's another brow pencil. I can't think of the name. Mine is in soft brown. Clearly, yeah. I've now purchased this 3 times. It is my brow pencil. I love it. Yes. Definitely a Diva darling. I like the shape of the pencil. It's triangular. It's really nice. Just like you can draw in little hairs or you can fill in areas. So definitely something that I've clearly repurchased several times. It's a little bit easier than going with like the dip brow. I think that takes a lot more patience and time, something which I do not possess. This is easier for me to like in the morning, like fill in where I need to fill in, or define a little bit more where I need to, and then I can just be done with it. I think the dip brow, like for some people, is great because they are really good and they want to like draw in like lots of individual hairs. Not really my thing, but definitely a Diva darling. Let's see. This was an Ofra eyeshadow single that I got in a Ipsy playbox or Ipsy bag. Sorry, this was in the color, and they don't have the color on here. It's a black. It's a nice shade. I have to be careful not to go a little ham on it because a little goes a long way. So it's in my Z palette. I don't know if I would repurchase it because it's a black. It'll probably take me a long time to get through it, but it's a nice eyeshadow. So, Diva darling. Next. Okay. I had 2 Morphe palettes. This is the 25B, the Bronze Mocha, and the 9A, Always Golden. Like, they're good, but yeah, you get in the face. I don't know. This is like the size of this palette, and it's a lot of, bronze mocha, lots of browns, and I was really excited when I bought it because there are some like purple, like darker, like purple shades, like a few. And it's nice to make like lots of neutral looks, but nothing like, I don't know. It's just a neutral palette, bronzy colors. And the purple might even be really purple. I don't even know. Some days all the eyeshadows look the same. It's okay. It's not like the best eyeshadow ever. It's not the worst eyeshadow ever. I think it's a good, maybe a good palette if you're starting out and you just kind of like a lot of, simple, not too crazy eye looks. It's a good palette to start out with. Some of the shadows are a little bit better than others. I think you're going to find that in any palette that you get into, but it's kind of just your average, like, bronzy palette. I don't know. I'm kind of neutral about this one. Not a darling and not a doubt. I mean, I'll use it up. I don't think I would repurchase it just because it's just neutral. Yeah. Always Golden. Again, if you can look on the back here, of course those are not always indicative of what's in the palette, but yeah, Heather, you just bought the same shades all over again. Oh well. Good palette. I like it. There's a nice gold shade. I think actually a lot of the colors that are in there I have on today. Yeah. There's a nice shimmer shade. They have to put a little setting spray on to kind of get it to really, you know, pop. But yeah, it's okay. It's alright. Let's move on. I have a mascara here, and I know this is not the only mascara that I've used up. I probably just threw some of them away. Sephora Lash Craft Big Volume. Got this in a Sephora box, and it's good. It reminds me a lot of the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, which I use a lot. It's like my favorite mascara. It would be a good dupe. I have to be careful because it can kind of get, with the wand, it can get a little clumpy, so you have to be really careful and make sure that when you're like putting it on, you know, you're kind of moving the wand back and forth so you don't get clumps. But it's pretty good. I would repurchase it. Diva Darling. Let's see. Let's move on to some lips. And again, I know there's lip stuff that I bought that I haven't used all of it up, so they aren't all in here. This was in, I think, a Sephora Play box. It's an Urban Decay Hi-Fi Shine, and I believe, yeah, the color was SPL, which is, it's kind of a just glittery pink. It's kind of a nice topper to put on some other colors. Don't know if I would purchase it on its own. It's a gloss, but it's nice to have, and it'll last for a while because I don't wear it very often. If you're into glosses like shiny, you know, on your lip, definitely would give this, this is a Diva Darling. Not sure I would like purchase it on my own, but it was great to have in a Sephora Play box because, again, it like gives me a chance to use something that I wouldn't necessarily buy on my own, but you know, I can get it in the Sephora Play box as a small container. It's not a big commitment, so yeah. Diva Darling. Okay. The Bite Beauty Agave Sugar Lip Scrub. And I got this at Sephora. I've had it for at least a year because my lips kind of get crusty. It's the only word I can think of. And the girl told me to buy this. I really kind of wanted like a lip scrub, like a lip mask. I mean, this is a scrub, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just not using it like right. It tastes great. It is edible. It tastes really good, but I don't really notice a difference. And then a lot of times before, when I realize I need to use it, I already have my foundation on and I can't really use this because like to really use this, like you need to like scrub your lips with it. And if you do that, you're gonna like ruin your foundation. But anyhow, it tastes really good. But I don't know if I would repurchase it. Again, not a darling and not a doubt. It's just a Diva, don't know. I don't know. It was good. Wouldn't repurchase it. But if lip scrubs like that are your thing, I would definitely say to try it out. Again, because it does taste really good. Not a real good reason to buy things, Heather. Okay. I have a Forever 21. No, wrong place. Makeup Forever lipstick. This was in the color C211. It's a dark color. It's really nice. Again, I think this came in a Sephora Play box or an Ipsy bag. It's nice to have little lipsticks. The color payoff is good. Yeah, Diva Darling. Yow. Okay, let's get into some randos here. I should have brought the container. I have only the box. The Dermalogica Clear Start Blackhead Clearing Fizz Mask. Sorry, I don't have the product in here. I do like this. I get blackheads on my nose kind of regularly. And I've noticed that when I use this, you don't have to use it a bunch. If you use it like once a week, in the beginning, like use it once a week, then maybe like the next week use it twice. Where you feel like the blackheads are cleared out, decrease the number of times you're using it a week, because otherwise it will dry you out. But I noticed that using this, like my face, like my nose area where I had blackheads, like is really clear now. So I like to like kind of use this as maintenance now, but it does work really well in like 3 to 5 minutes and you're done. So yeah, you like take a shower, make sure that all your pores are open, get out, put this on, 3 to 5 minutes, then rinse it off and you're done. So I will tell you that I think this works really, really well. And they have like a whole line of different products that go with this that are in the Clear Start line. So this is the only one I've used so far, but I definitely would say that it's definitely a Diva darling. Okay. Soap and Glory, what a peeling, purifying declog mask. It actually comes with 2 in a container. I love this mask. It's bright pink. And the fact that you get 2 makes it even better. You know, it's a good 20-25 minutes of time I can just sit and watch television or watch YouTube videos while you put it on, then you just peel it off. I think that it kind of absorbs all the oil on your face, and it helps with getting things clogged, and I just like the way that my face, like my skin feels when I get done using it. So definitely have another 2 of these in the bathroom, I think. So definitely something I would repurchase. I did get this at Ulta, and I think you can also get them at Target. But definitely a Diva darling. Wow, we're like getting through these. Another thing that I got in a FabFitFun box is the Kula Sport Classic Sunscreen, and this is for your face, and this, I think the scent is like white. Yeah, white tea. At first, I took this on vacation because it's only 1.7 fluid ounces, so when I go on vacation, I do everything in a carry-on, because your girl is cheap. So I took this, and normally I will not buy a sunscreen that's just for your face. That's such a ploy. Sunscreen will work anywhere. Yeah, anyhow. So the first couple times I used this, I did not like the smell, but I think it was because when I was using another sunscreen with it, and I think like I put the other sunscreen on this, like on my chest and my shoulder, you know, my arms and stuff, and then I put this on my face, and the smells together didn't work right. Then like, you know, I was on vacation for like 10 days, so I kind of just learned like put this on first, and then put the other sunscreens on, and then like the smells weren't funky. But I did like this. Again, I usually don't buy sunscreen that's just for my face, but this is one that I really did like. I didn't get burnt, so that's even better. So definitely a Diva darling. Yeah, it's good stuff, and it's organic, if that makes you feel any better. Okay, FabFitFun box. The Aromatherapy Associates De-Stress Muscle Gel, and I have not finished using this. It is it's very scented. It smells like essential oils, which I'm sure is probably the ingredients in it. Yeah. It's fine. I'm sure like the smells are supposed to make you de-stress. I don't know if I would buy it on its own, but I do enjoy using it. I'll use it up. Yeah, but it is like little goes a long way with the smell. So if you're sensitive to smell, probably not something that you would want to like get into, because it is fragrant. But not a Diva darling, not a Diva doubt, just a Diva don't know. Okay, this is something that I obviously use a lot. It's the Ulta Beauty Smarts New Hue Shadow Switching Pan, and it's in my bedroom right now on my vanity. This is, you can use to change your eyeshadow colors. Looks like a little like coarse sponge, and I love this thing. Like I was like, how does it really work? Is it gonna work? But it does. Like it really cleans your brush out. So it saves you having to clean your brush. Like obviously you can't clean your brushes with, you know, cleaner between, like if you want to change your eyeshadow. But this, like, yeah, just kind of take your brush and swirl it around on top of there, and like the shadow falls out. And every week when I'm cleaning all my brushes, I just take everything out of there and just put a little soap on the spongy thing, and, you know, just kind of squeeze it in your hand, run it through the water, it comes out. Clean out the tin that it's in, because the shadow will fall into the bottom, and it's like brand new. So definitely a Diva darling. Didn't even make it in the bag. Okay, my favorite eyeshadow makeup or eye makeup remover is from Lancome, the Bifacil. I love this stuff. Again, this is a smaller version. You can get it at the checkout counter. I know at Ulta and at Sephora. So definitely recommend this. 10/10. It's great. It takes everything off. No matter, like, waterproof mascara, really dark eyeshadow, really pigmented eyeshadow, like this takes it off. So yeah, I'm not gonna throw this at you. Something that I also buy a lot of are little cotton rounds. These are from Target, and this is the Up and Up brand. They come 100 in a sleeve. I usually buy the 3-pack, so it's like 300. They're like, I think maybe $4 or $5 for 300. I love them. They have a little texture on them. Yeah, I keep these. This is something I keep in my bathroom all the time. Perfume. Let's get on to some perfume. We're at the end, friends. The Escada yeah. Escada Sorbetto Rosso, and I know that I butchered that, so I really apologize. I was like in Ulta, I was just playing around like at the perfume area, and I picked up the sample for the sample, or the tester, that's the word, tester, and I was like, oh, I must have this. It's so good. It's very like tropical island. Again, it must be because I like islands. Oh, I think it's got some watermelon notes in there. I don't know. Normally watermelon isn't like a smell that I'm like jazzed about, but the way, like, this just smells so good. I could probably bathe in this. Good thing it was only a roller ball. But definitely a Diva darling. Don't know if it's really a scent for the winter time, but definitely for the summer. Summer, it's kind of a light, you know, fruity, you know, let's go on vacation scent. So definitely a Diva darling. That brings us to our last thing. Thanks for hanging in there. This is Philosophy. This is the perfume Falling in Love. And this is my all-time favorite perfume. I don't know. There's something about it. I think there's like some raspberry in it. It's light. And so it's not like really overpowering. The only thing I wish that it did, it seems like I've had several bottles of this, and it seems like the scent really dissipates faster now. I don't know if they changed something in the formula, but yeah, I'm not a person like wants to drench herself in perfume, but it seems like it's just like not as fragrant as it used to be. So I don't know if they changed something in it, but it is still my favorite perfume. So again, if you're looking for something to buy me, I like this is my favorite. So definitely a Diva darling. Not too many doubts, just a few, some don't knows. But yeah, that's all the stuff that I've been hoarding away the last year, just so I could share it with you. And there's stuff that's not even in there because I think I threw it away. And there are a couple things I have from vacation. I had some little samples that I used, and I took pictures, so maybe I can insert those somewhere else. So we've come to the end. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and make sure to comment down below or subscribe. That's even better. Always looking for those subscribers. Again, I am new here on YouTube. This is like my actual first formal YouTube video. Everything that I put on so far is stuff that I have migrated over from Facebook. So definitely tell your friends all about Diva tested, Diva approved. You know, I'm going to give you my opinion even if you don't want it, because that's how I am. But again, I hope you enjoyed this little episode of Diva Darlings and Diva Doubts. And make sure that you subscribe so you can get notified of my next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye!